This video is going to focus on contingency tables, which are also referred to as two-way tables. There's a connection between Venn diagrams and contingency tables. Well, the big thing, Venn diagrams tend to focus sort of on almost one quantity or two quantities and their relationships together. Contingency tables are looking sort of at multiple variables gathered about the same group of people. And while the example we're going to look at sort of in this lesson only involves sort of four quantities or sort of two different variables, for example, looking at this contingency table down below here, we notice that one of the sort of characteristics that this group was asked about was the baby's birth weight low or normal. And then the second variable that was gathered, or were they smokers or non-smokers? But what we'll eventually be seeing as we sort of keep working with contingency tables is we might have more than just two qualities. So it might be, low birth weight, normal birth weight, high birth weight. And so you'd have sort of those three quantities, which is something that details that you won't necessarily see in a Venn diagram. The other sort of interesting thing is you'll notice that there's these total rows. They're not always included on the contingency tables, but the nice thing about having them is when we start using these with probability in our next lesson, it's nice to have the totals sort of already done for you. It's a built-in check. Now, what we're going to be doing with two-way tables in this lesson is sort of thinking about the relationship to Venn diagrams and back. So this two-way table has been turned into the Venn diagram on the right here. And sort of the blue circle represents smoking mothers. So if I were thinking about that on the two-way table here, that would be sort of this row right here. And so we're focused on those 150 total smokers. And if you notice, 132 plus 18 would total 150. So there are 150 in that blue circle. And then we're also looking at low birth weight babies. So this sort of column right here. And I like to sort of circle my two-way table like I just showed you. Because if you notice, 32, again, 18 plus 14 is 32. But take a look at that overlap right there, that 18. Ooh, it matches the overlap in my Venn diagram. And then that 132 over here is the extra normal birth weight from smoking mothers. And then the 14 of low birth weight from non-smokers is down here. And don't forget that there's an extra number here hanging out, that 186. And we have 186 sort of here outside the Venn diagram. So there's a direct connection between our sort of setup here and what we ended up with in our Venn diagram. Now, this wouldn't be the only sort of possible Venn diagram I could make off of this two-way table. I could have made one circle non-smoking mothers and the other circle normal birth weight, and then it would be totally different numbers within my circles. And so it's just sort of what information are we wanting to pull out of that two-way table. Again, this is just another sort of form of organizing data. And throughout this semester, we're going to be looking at a bunch of different data displays, because part of the things we want to come out of here with is, can we read and interpret data that we've been presented with? All right, so we're going to now look at a problem where we not only build our contingency table, but then we also create a Venn diagram and answer some questions about it. So here we're told 200 people were surveyed about their smoking and drinking habits. It was found that 38 people, and I'm going to just sort of highlight numbers as we get to them. So 38 people smoked cigarettes, 26 smoked and drank, and 30 people neither smoked nor drank alcohol, and we had 200 people total. Now, looking here, that 200 people total, that's going to be down here in my sort of lower corner, because that's like the total number of people surveyed. And then I'm going to sort of go through and look at the parts. So we have 38 people smoke cigarettes. So in that smoke row, that's going to have a total of 38. I know that. And then I'm told 26 both smoke and there's that and there, drank. So that means if I'm thinking about my 2A table, I need to find the box that both is in smoking, that smoking row, but also in the drinking column. And that would be that first sort of box right up here. And so I'm going to fill 26 in there. And then 30 people neither smoked nor drank. So doesn't drink and doesn't smoke. That would be the 30 down here. And so those are all the numbers that I'm given with. Now, I need to fill in the rest of the table, and I'm going to do some pretty easy subtraction to sort of fill in the holes. So let's start right here with this total box here. I'm going to circle it in blue. So I know that these two numbers, the 38 plus this blank, need a total 200 people because there were 200 total people surveyed. So if 38 smoke, then everyone else doesn't smoke. So if I do 200 minus 38, I get 2, that's 19, which would end up being 16. So 162 here go in the doesn't smoke row. And I'm going to keep sort of filling in this way. So like I got this blank box here and then 26 and 38 filled in. So 26 plus however many don't drink should total 38. So if I do 38 minus 26, I would end up with 12. And then I can sort of go, okay, well, these two put together should add up to my total doesn't drink. So 12 plus 30 is 42. And you can notice I'm just sort of filling in the holes as I work my way across. And so this column right here, so I already used purple, so let's trade that to yellow. So this box right here would be the 162, something plus 30 equals 162, or 162 minus 30, and that would come out at 132 people who don't smoke. If I add my column again, so 26 plus 132, and I would get 158. And I can double check 158 plus 42. Yep, that adds to 200. Check, my 2A table is good. So you sort of have to take the information we're given, just like with Venn diagrams, sort of fill in and break apart what it's telling you, and then using some basic adding and subtracting to fill in the rest of the holes. All right. Now that we've finished the 2A table, the contingency table, we're going to now take that information and interpret it into a Venn diagram. When it comes to building the Venn diagram and from a 2A table or a contingency table, there's a few different ways you can go about doing it. And so it's sort of up to you or the question how you build the Venn diagram. So step one is you have to sort of pick what two variables you're going to focus on. One of the variables needs to come from, the columns. So the circle either is going to focus on people who drink or people who don't drink. And then the other one would need to come from the sort of rows. So I would pick either smokes or doesn't smoke. And it's sort of your call which one you want to use. Now, I'm assuming, since this is a study sort of looking at smoking and drinking habits, that we probably want one of our circles to be focused on people who smoke. And then we're going to make the other circle focused on people who drink. And so if we're looking at that, and I'm going to use my highlighter here. So I'm going to say, okay, we're looking at this drinking column, all of those people. And then we're focused on the row on smoking. And so that we can see, all right, the number that overlaps is that 26. So that's going to go right in the middle. And then if I stick with that drinking circle, the people who drink but don't smoke, that would be that 132 number. And then I go over to the smoking row, and we have the 26 who drink and smoke. We already have that. And then the extra 12 who smoke but don't drink. And then we have to make sure that we total everyone in our survey. And so that outside of my highlighted is that 30. So the 30 is going to go on the outside in my Venn diagram. And ta-da! I have finished my Venn diagram from my 2A table. And I can use it now to go, okay, how many people drink alcohol? Well, that's a total number, and so that would be the bottom of that drinking column, so 158. How many people do not smoke? So if I go to the do not smoke row and over to that total, there's 162. And how many people smoke or drink? That would be everything. You could think of it as everything in the inside of the Venn diagram. Or you could think about it as sort of the three numbers that are in our highlighted rows. Or you could think of it as the smoke row, that 38, and then the drink column, the 158, but you'd want to take out the overlap because you counted it twice. I personally just go with the everything in the inside of my Venn diagram. So the 132 plus 26 plus 12, which comes out to 170 people. And that's an example of how we build a two-way table, how it relates to a Venn diagram, and then using it to answer similar questions we've been answering all along. And getting good at recognizing these numbers is really going to help us in our next lesson where we explore probability.